You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, let's talk about the WNBA commissioner and the WNBA players in this league that seem to be bound and determined to keep this league as small as possible and alienate any of the new fans that have been brought into this sport. Look, you've got a certain section of WNBA players, and honestly, it feels like most of them, that I've referred to as activist basketball players. Now, what does that mean? Well, number one, a lot of the players in this league are part of the LGBTQ elemental P community, right? Obviously, a lot of the players are black, and we live in a society now that if you criticize either one, then you're labeled a racist or a homophobe, all right? Any criticism. You're not allowed to criticize without getting labeled as part of some kind of toxic fan group, right? And Cathy Engelbert, the commissioner of the WNBA, was asked a question by CNBC, and I actually thought she gave a very good answer. And, of course, the activist basketball players in this league now want her out. They're mad, all right? And it seems to me like they were content living off the NBA and the funding of the NBA. And they don't want this league to grow. Or they only want it to grow a certain way, a certain fan base. In other words, they don't want straight white males and their families watching this league. Let's just be real, all right? They don't want that. So that's where we're at. The WNBA and the players trying to once again commit suicide, league suicide, by now calling for the head of the commissioner, which is just wild to me. It's nuts. Here we go.
That question, which raises some sensitivities of rivalries between players. In the case of Angel Reese, who's just had to shut it down because of a wrist injury, Caitlin Clark, who's continuing to play. Rivalry that goes back to their college days, presumably, where I guess some trash talking entered in. But now it seems on some social media channels to have taken a darker turn, a more menacing turn, where race has been introduced into the conversation, where sexuality is sometimes introduced into the conversation. How do you try and stay ahead of that, try and tamp it down, or act as a league when two of your most visible players are involved, not personally, it would seem, but their fan bases are involved in saying some very uncharitable things about the other?
Well, the one thing that's great about the league right now, we do sit at this intersection of culture and sport and fashion and music. Like, the WNBA players are really looked at now as kind of cultural icons.
True.
And when you have that, you have a lot of attention on you. There's no more apathy. Everybody cares. It is a little that Bird Magic moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another. So the social media is different today than it was in 1979 when it didn't exist. But, I always tell the players, I was told a long time ago, if someone's typing something in and you wouldn't ask their advice, ignore it. So it's a balance, but certainly from a marketing dollars, but corporate partners are stepping up to endorse these players much, much more so than they were 5 years ago.
Okay, so I'm going to keep it real. That is an answer of a commissioner that does not want to alienate people. She understands they have an opportunity to grow this league. They are getting fantastic ratings and attendance, at least when Caitlin Clark's involved. And it has trickled over into some of the other games, not nearly to the extent that people like Angel Reese want to think that it has. But you've got a lot of people that are mad, petty, jealous, and they're livid because now their league has grown beyond their minority activist community. That's the only people that have been watching this sport. So now they're getting everyday people, you know. I don't think it's a coincidence that Angel Reese went after Iowa and Indiana Midwest. Old-fashioned values, you know, Bible Belt, Southern fan bases. They don't want us. They don't want us, which is amazing because we come with money, you know, and their league is growing and it's getting popular, but these players hate us. I mean, that's the thing. And so these players are mad. And so now they're literally, number one, you got woke fans that are losing their minds right now. Seriously. In my opinion, this was an open opportunity for her to address some things head on, and damn, she missed it by a mile. God almighty. When you watch the full clip, it's unbelievable how badly she misses the mark. He threw her a lob, and she did a belly flop on the court. Number one, I thought it was a terrible question. I did. He set her up. I stand against all forms of discrimination, hatred, and bias, especially in reference to sports. The intersection of racism and sports should always be rejected. No platform is too big or too small to stand for the right thing. No excuses. Now, there's a player in the league. Yikes. I mean, seriously, they're wanting her out now. Breanna Stewart has ripped the commissioner. It's wild. It's wild. It's a perfectly reasonable answer to not alienate anybody, and they're mad. That's not good enough. The answer, you're not woke enough as a commissioner. So we got to have you out. Players from the Liberty star Breanna Stewart to Reese herself reacted to the comments, and WNBPA Executive Director Terry Jackson released a scathing statement criticizing the commissioner. To be honest, I saw the interview today, and since then have been in talks with Terry at the WNBPA. I think it's disappointing to hear, Stewart told reporters on Tuesday night after New York's win over the Dallas Wings, because the way that the fans have surged, especially behind Caitlin and Angel coming to this league, but also bringing like a race aspect to a different level, there's no place in that for our sport. I think that it really is what that's really what it is. We want our sport to be inclusive for race, for gender, and really be a place where people can be themselves. We wish Cathy would have used her platform in a different way, and it made it a little bit better. Just telling the fans enough is enough. Become a fan of our sport for the new ones. Lock in for everybody, but don't be disrespectful, because as a league, we stick together, and there's no place for that. I mean, let's just keep it real. What she is saying is, if you don't come in and you're not woke as a fan, you're not welcome. I mean, it's wild. These players are insane. A statement from the WNBPA Executive Director. Here is the answer that the commissioner should have provided. Really, now you're telling the commissioner what she should say and think. Interesting. Here is the answer the commissioner should have provided to a very clear question regarding racism, misogyny, and harassment experienced by players. There is absolutely no place in our sport or in our life for the vile hate, racist language, homophobic comments, and misogynistic attacks against our players that they're facing on social media. This is not about rivalries or iconic personalities fueling a business model. This is kind of toxic fandom, should never be tolerated or left unchecked. It demands immediate action and frankly should have been addressed a long time ago. So in other words, like I said, we've seen this in entertainment, folks. For example, Lucasfilm, Disney, they put out products that people don't like and reject. And when people reject it, the first thing they do is they call everybody either sexist, racist, homophobic, all of these kind of DEI buzz terms, like the director just used there. And like Breanna Stewart is chirping about, you're not allowed to criticize and you're not allowed to reject. All the while, by the way, it looks like Caitlin Clark has been directly targeted by hate on the court, but that's okay. But that's good. And not only is it good, you're not allowed to say anything about it, white man. White people. That's what it sounds like. Again, any form of criticism, and when you're involved with a group like this, like these activist basketball players, if they don't hear something that they like, the lowest hanging fruit is what they immediately go to. You're homophobic and you're racist. Great. So y'all don't want to be criticized at all, in other words. At all. And by the way, I mean, there is some of the most awful things said against white people by some of these fans of some of these players. It is unbelievable. But that's okay, I guess. That's good. I mean, that's nothing to see here. We're good with white hate. Wow. Seriously, this league, I mean, it's nuts. These players are kicking and screaming, fighting. Look, their league has grown by 4 times the amount of fans. 4 times. And they want those 4 times the amount of fans to disappear and go away now. Again, we're good living off the NBA's teat. We have been. I mean, we'll take free money, I guess. And then bitch because women aren't getting paid enough in sports. Okay. By the way, you don't get everything in life on your terms. That's called life. It is what it is. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.